So now we're kind of in the discussion of, since I'm going to Fancy next year, there's lots of things that we want to do between now and then. What does that look like on a monthly basis? We haven't really completely nailed down what it looks like, but it's definitely something.
Hello, and welcome to the Master the Media podcast, episode 21. I'm your host, Amy Gorin, and I'm so excited to be here today with Kaitlin Hippley, who is a Master the Media student and media dietitian, and she's going to tell us all about how she has started working with brands. Hi, Kaitlin.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. Before we dive in, I just want to let you guys know that if you are curious when you're listening to today's episode about how to work with brands, we have a free pricing guide that you can grab at masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide. All right. So, Kaitlin, I'm so excited to talk with you. You're actually my first Master the Media student who's on the
Oh,
podcast. And I just, you're like, you've been a rock star at working with brands and just like jumping into it. But I'm sure people also want to know like who you are. So let's have you introduce yourself.
yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I feel honored that I'm the first student. I had no idea. Hi everyone. I'm Katie or Kaitlin Hippley. A little bit about me. So obviously I'm a dietitian. I'm a diabetes educator as well, and a mom of two little babes. I have a almost 2.5-year-old boy and a 9-month-old little girl. So my full-time gig, I work for a hospital doing like outpatient medical nutrition therapy, kind of working with metabolic patients because of my diabetes educator. Um, and so I went on maternity leave in January and I came back April timeframe. And I don't know, I just felt like I needed more me back. When you have kids, you just start to feel more like mom and mom and mom 24/7. And you kind of lose a little bit of yourself. And because it was my second baby and I've kind of been in this mom bubble for the past 3 years almost, I just kind of wanted more. I even told work, I want to do a little bit more, and they did give me more, but seeing patients, day in, day out, it gets a little redundant. I love my job. I don't ever plan to leave my job, but I just wanted a little bit of extra oomph. So it's kind of funny how I came across Master the Media. I think my dietetic internship had sent like a email talking about your masterclass,
I love that. Which internship program did you do?
Be Well Solutions.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
they're great at sharing things.
yeah.
Yeah.
I always read their emails just to, see what's going on. But it caught my attention because it was free ordering, and I'm
Which is what
competitive.
we give away at our master
Yeah.
classes.
It's like join, win a free Aura ring. I'm like, I'm competitive. I could win this Aura ring. So I signed up I registered for the webinar and kind of forgot about it. And I remember I was putting my daughter down for a nap, and it was like, this Zoom call will start in like 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, if she's down, I'll join it. What the heck?
Win an Oura
Um,
ring.
yeah, why not? Why not? It's during my lunch break. I can do it. So I joined, and obviously, to win the Aura ring, you have to be paying attention and like in the conversation, right? Because it's based on engagement. And well, I was engaging and I was learning. I was like, oh, wait, this is actually really like interesting. This is catching my attention. I'm intrigued. So, fast forward a little bit, I won the Aura ring. I was the most engaged. But because of that, I just kept thinking about it. So, for the next couple weeks, I was like, oh, wow, this sounds like really great. Like extra money, do it at your own whim. You don't have to be on socials. Because for everyone to know, I had no social media presence, no dietitian account. Um, because I don't have my private practice, I had no website, like zero, nothing, nada. So that caught my attention too. Like, okay, I could do this and I don't need that stuff. Um, So I thought about it for a couple weeks. I had a couple conversations with like family and friends, asking their opinion. Like, am I crazy to think that I could do something like this? I talked with my husband to see, if we were to invest in it, what would our expectations be? Like, when would we want to see a return, et
I
cetera, et
love
cetera,
that
et
you had those
cetera.
conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we kind of started to see it as like this is schooling, right? It's like a continued education, continued training. I had to see it as that to put the investment in. So if it was a continued education opportunity, would we be okay if we didn't see a return back till another year or two? And I wanted to make sure we had that conversation because I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself going in and expecting to make all of my investment back in 3 months. So we talked about it and I talked to Katie a little bit more and then I pulled the plug. I did it.
And Katie is our community manager. If you're like,
Yes, yes.
Katie
She
didn't
was
talk to
great.
herself.
She was great. She talked me through some of my like, oh, I don't know, points, and made me feel a lot better about it. So I pulled the plug, I joined.
And that was back
And
in May, right? When you joined?
no, it was like June, like late June. It was like
Okay.
the 20th, 25th of June. Um,
So right before my maternity leave.
yeah. It was, I remember because you were running that promotion. I'm like, I gotta get it in time. So I joined, and I mentioned before, I'm a very competitive person, especially with myself. So I'm like, okay, I have to prove everyone wrong. I have to prove to my husband that I can do this. Like, I can do this. And I really just dove in. Like, I went through the webinars, got kind of like my base information. I immediately started doing the media interviews, and then I waited for a couple of those to be published to make like the most beginner media kit. And when I'm saying the most beginner media kit, I was using my family photos as like my headshot.
You have to start somewhere. And I love that because like, yeah. And we that did you use our like you worked with Ansley, one of our instructors, to create that, right?
Yeah. Yep. Um, yeah, and that's so unlike me. I'm such a perfectionist. I don't like things to go out until it's 100%. But at that point, I'm like, I have no choice. Like, let's just piece something together. I can't get my headshots right now. I gotta wait like another month. She's not available. What the heck? Why not? Right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes.
So a super beginner media kit, and use the information that I started to learn from the course to kind of start some email blast out to brands. I had a few conversations, and one of those conversations led to a partnership.
And I mean, that was tell everyone what like how long you'd been at this at the point that you landed your first partnership.
Like a month.
Which is incredible. I mean, here Kaitlin is like making kind of like, okay, the expectation for herself and her husband is we'll have a 1 to 2 year return
Mm-hmm.
on her investment. And it was a month.
Yeah, it was literally a month. We talked, it was the endish of July, and I think we got contract signed the beginning of August. And I had a lot going on in August, so I didn't really start the partnership till September. That was like our start date, but we had a lot of conversation prior to that. We had so much going on in August. And yeah, I mean, 2 months to the start of it, of me starting Master the Media, and boom.
So I think when people hear the term, you had a partnership with a brand, like what does that even mean? I think is always the first question of like, tell everyone, what were you tell everyone all the details
Yeah. So
that you
I
feel
mentioned,
comfortable sharing, of course.
sure. So I mentioned before starting this, zero social presence. To be honest, I still like zero social presence. I made an Instagram. I'm working on it, guys. Follow me. we'll get there. But I have one post.
You can you can share your Instagram handle now. We might as well.
Yeah, I will. I have one post. Side story. I'm just waiting for it to feel like more authentic. I don't want it to be inauthentic. So, but I have a good follower-ish for, being one post. Anyways, I wanted brand partnerships to be kind of outside of the socials, unless it was on the brands. I was open to that, but I wanted to use more like my knowledge and credibility to help them kind of on the backside.
Yeah. And that's,
outside of socials.
And I love that you just, because we say that, like, you don't need a social media following, and people don't believe us, but I love that you actually were like, okay, let's do it.
No, that was literally my fear too, beginning this. I'm like, okay, you guys are saying there's no social presence, or you don't need a social presence, but like, are they telling me the truth? Are they just telling me something I want to hear? Like, that really was my biggest concern, because we are so blasted by influencers and things like that, where I'm like, how could this even be possible without being that, micro influencer? But it was. So, to tell you a little bit more about what we kind of agreed on. So they are a new company and they wanted to really grow their like credibility, presence, but also just expand their reach. So we kind of started with the credibility.
And they're a food company, right?
They're a food company, yep. Wanted to increase their credibility by being backed by a dietitian. Why does this food product stand out amongst others in the space? And I think having that dietitian, diabetes educator back it makes it stand out more. So we started with a testimony, and a blog post and kind of some consulting hours.
A blog post for their website, right?
Yes, yeah. yes. And some consulting hours. On that initial conversation, I kind of mentioned, like, I don't know if you've heard about Fancy before, but you guys should look into it. Not even pitching myself, just as like a professional courtesy. Hey, check into this. Like, this could benefit you. So we got the ball moving with those deliverables. And they actually, without me knowing, had looked into Fancy and realized that, oh, hey, this might be like a really good opportunity for us as a new brand.
And Fancy, for anyone who's listening, is like, what's Fancy? Fancy is the annual nutrition conference for dietitians. It's a big
repping my Nashville cup. I can't see it.
It was in Nashville this year.
Yeah. And so they had got back to me and they're like, oh, we looked into Fancy. This looks really great. What would it look like if we had you come on board with us to Fancy and do some things to prepare for Fancy? So that's kind of where like our partnership increased by what? It went from like under 5 to almost 15,000.
And you're I was like, you're not talking about $5. You're talking about like $5,000 to $15,000 for kind of just something you slipped into the conversation and they ran with.
Yeah. And I think, just planting those seeds without being too salesy, because it was never really my intention to, make them take me or anything like that. It was just more like an open, honest conversation, and I was just trying to help them out.
And what did you end up doing for them at Fancy? Because I think people might hear that and be like, oh, what does that mean that you worked a conference for a brand?
Yep. So I did like the expo 4 hours. I did 2 of the 3 days, which basically I helped them at the booth, talked about their product to everyone coming up, just kind of explained like the benefits and why I back it and why I love it and what makes them stand out, just a little bit of everything. So that was at Fancy, but then I also helped create handouts for them to pass out at Fancy. And then I did help them with a little bit of socials in terms of like creating the posts for like their giveaways and things like that. It wasn't on my socials. It was just on theirs.
And did the handout have your picture on it?
It did not. We just kind of left it more blank canvas so they could use it after the fact when name and likeness would be over. Yeah.
And Do you want to share what I know, like you shared with me that before the conference was even over, something exciting happened?
Oh yeah. So, I wanted to make sure that they were happy. That's just me. Like I want to give everything like my 150%. So I could tell that they were like happy during the expo. I did some like extra things that we didn't agree to, but low time maintenance, things like that.
Like what?
Um, like I helped them put the post on and I helped them get like the winners. Like I kind of took control of their socials during Fancy. Didn't really take too much of my time and it was just kind of to help them out. So a little bit real quick, like I love them. They again are such a small company and it's great to actually work with a brand where you're working with the founders like one-on-one. You're not working with, like a marketing person. There's less webbing, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. Like I'm such like a family focused. Like I want to feel like I'm part of the family. So yeah, I mean, I just, I felt like part of the family and
And
they were so welcoming that I wanted to just help them out a little bit
you over
more.
delivered, which is
I
amazing.
did over
Yes.
deliver. Yep, yep, yep. So anyways, the last day of Fancy, they're like, this, was above and beyond our expectations. We really appreciate you tipping us off to come. We already signed up to come next year and we're bringing you with us.
I mean, that's incredible. It's like, talk about a job well done.
Yes, yes. I mean, what more could I have asked for, honestly? So now we're kind of in the discussion of, since I'm going to Fancy next year, there's lots of things that we want to do between now and then. What does that look like on a monthly basis? We haven't really completely nailed down what it looks like, but it's definitely something.
Like, probably bigger even than what you already had, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about like doing the RD, like doing an RD program and me kind of spearheading and managing it.
Oh, I
And
love that.
then, yeah, I'm excited about that. And then probably like little things mixed here and there, more blog posts and, continuation use of name and likeness and things like that.
Oh, and I mean,
Yeah.
how has this, like, I'm sure I don't want to put words in your mouth that it's been so much fun, but like, how has it been, doing this kind of work?
I love it. So, it's great to have something in, this nutrition world outside of just speaking with patients. I love my patients. I love talking with patients, but it just adds like an extra layer of excitement and it's just fun. It's fun to learn what brands do and, their goals and how I can help them. It's nothing, I never thought of this as an option in the dietitian space when I went to school for it or any of that. When I was looking for jobs, it never crossed my mind. It was always like, oh, that's what influencers do or something.
Yeah. And now that you've like been, working with brands, how would you say it kind of fits into your schedule of, you have a full-time job, you have two kids and a husband.
Yeah,
How are you doing juggling it and how does that work?
yeah, yeah. I mean, thankfully, when you're working with brands, you don't have to do anything during that 9 to 5 time frame. You agree on a deliverable and you have a due date for that deliverable. So for me, my time to do a lot of this is what used to be my rot time where I just sat on the couch and did nothing. So after the kids are in bed, that's normally when I'll put like an hour and a half of work in. And then I still can get, 30 minutes to an hour of raw time. It's a fair deal.
My
So
husband
that's
always tells me, he's like, I don't know anyone who watches as much TV as you. And I'm like, well, I need my brain to relax.
yes, yes, yes. It's funny because as moms, we're like, we have no time, but somehow at the end of the night, we have time to binge watch a couple episodes of something and get through all the seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You totally need to just leave the dimension of being a mom. But this does it for me too, like being able to put my brain to work in a different way. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where I squeeze in time is in the evenings or like on the weekends during their nap time or something like that.
So, like, I mean, you said an hour or so a night. So does that add up to like 5 hours a week or so?
Yeah, I mean, again, the benefit is I get to dictate all of that, you know? If I know I have something due on X day, I can put in my whole rot time for a couple of days and get it over with, right? Or I could spend 30 minutes of my rot time to get it done. So, yeah, I would say maybe if we're talking everything like brand stuff, doing stuff with Master the Media, doing like the media interviews, yeah, I would probably say on average like an hour a day. So maybe like without the weekends typically, unless I totally didn't do stuff during the week. So I'd say about 5 hours a week. I'm doing something to this nature.
Which is incredible. I mean, incredible. Like you already shared, like you have that 15,000 or so dollars you already got, and you're talking about
Yeah.
extending the partnership for, and you're investing 5 hours a week of your time for that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Again, give or take, you know, but yeah, around that for sure, 5 hours or so.
Amazing. And I think the other question that I'm sure our listeners are dying to ask you is how, you know, what did you do like when you started working with brands? Did you have a conversation with your job? Like, what did that look like?
So I didn't.
That's
but
okay.
I knew like from reading stuff and like my job description, it didn't seem like it would be an issue as long as, you know, I'm not doing it during work hours. It's not interfering or impeding on my job, and I'm not using my job's name in any capacity to land these things. Um,
And it's not like the brand that you're working with is a competitor with your job at
There's
all.
no, yeah, because I work for a hospital. It's definitely not a competitor. And like, I know my supervisor has like a dietitian account, and she sees patients on the side. So I kind of took that information. I was like, I don't really think I have to, like, why do I need to make something of this when it's nothing?
Totally.
But obviously, if they came to me and there was ever an issue, I would talk through it and we try to figure out a solution. But
Yeah.
just nothing seemed like it would be an issue.
Yeah. And I mean, when people are in that boat of like, oh, I don't know if this is an issue or not, I always tell them, like, make it seem like a really, because it is a really good thing for your job. Like, if you tell them, like, look, I'm
Yeah.
getting media trained, I can go on TV and talk about nutrition. So I can do that on behalf of the hospital if you'd like. And they're going to be like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that sounds amazing.
And you know what? I have. So not to that capacity, but when I was having a conversation with my supervisor of like me wanting to do more, she's like, well, what interests you? Like, I actually have like sometimes like the hospital's media team would reach out wanting to do interviews and things like that. I'm like, heck yeah. You know, two birds, one stone.
Exactly. I've even had like some of our students like get their jobs to pay for the media training because it's
Oh,
so
wow.
beneficial. Yeah.
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 I haven't even thought about that. I don't think they would, but in terms of showcasing how beneficial it is to the hospital.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they've actually like my job, like the hospital's media team has like handed me a couple like interview opportunities. One was with Consumer Reports, which is like a really
Yeah, that's
good
a huge
outlet.
outlet.
Yeah. And then like some other ones with health and things like that. So, and I've shared that I've done all these other interviews, so they know that I'm at least doing that.
Yeah. And when you say, other interviews, like tell us a little bit about, the media that you've gotten featured in.
Yeah. So let's see. There's the Consumer Reports, HuffPost, Parade, Eating Well, Real Simple, Very Well Health. I think I'm hitting them all. But then a lot of those are like always syndicated and like MSN and Yahoo and all that fun stuff.
That's a lot. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I want to say I'm somewhere between maybe 10 or 15
Wow.
articles published since I joined. And again, I'm not doing this like every week. There's a couple weeks where I did a couple and then I realized that was not sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, it ebbs and flows what you're able to do, and that's the beauty of it. Like I took my entire maternity leave off of doing any media interviews, and it's
Yeah,
fine, because articles get republished often, and you can kind of have your
they
work
do.
for you, which is amazing.
Yeah, and now that I have, work with the brands, I had to take a little bit of a step back, but I'm still putting my name in the hat for some of those interviews, especially ones that are super close to my niche in like the metabolic space and stuff.
Yeah, which is super, super hot right now.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
um,
Yes.
is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners just about it could, anything related to what we've talked about today?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like shoot your shot. Like I said, you miss 100% of the shots you can't take or you don't take. And if this is something that you're interested in, if this is something that you can't stop thinking about, why not try? Like I said, I had the conversation with my husband and we were like, okay, a year or two, if we make our money back then, but now you're going to have this training indefinitely. So now you have for however long after the fact with this knowledge to do whatever with. So we kind of saw it as that, like, yeah, it's an investment, but so was school, so was everything, your certifications. And I'm really happy I took the plunge. And it's honestly been so great. Like every student in Master the Media is so nice. Dietitians do not gatekeep. Like we share when we love each other and we help each other. And it was so special meeting everyone in Fancy and just kind of being a little family.
Yes. And I was telling Kaitlin before we started recording, I was like, I'm literally in withdrawal right now from having spent so much time with our students. And, there was like the end of Fancy when we'd had our event and we finished our booth and things were kind of calm. And I was like, impromptu dinner, let's all go out to dinner.
Yep.
And it was just the best, like getting to hang out with you guys and like hear about just how you're juggling working with brands and you're having kids and just being a human.
Yeah, it really was so nice meeting everyone in Fancy. I was nervous because like I was traveling alone. I was going to Fancy without my husband, without anyone, without any dietitian friends that I was really close with. And like I was getting lunch with people from Master the Media. We were going to dinner. We had all those events. Um, yeah, they're coming up to the booth saying hi, just very, very supportive.
And you guys had like your little WhatsApp group, right? Where you were
We
talking
did.
about, yeah, throughout Fancy. I love it. Yeah. So, I mean, I love your advice for, why not at least kind of like glimpse into what it looks like for yourself because you never
Shoot your
know.
shot.
Yeah. Now, Kaitlin, where can people find you online?
Yeah. So right now I only have an Instagram, guys. I told you I'm working on it. But it's Kaitlin the RD on Instagram. Come follow me and hopefully I'll post more soon.
Yeah, and we can grow with you, which is
Yeah.
I love that. Just being, you're gonna probably get some new followers from the people
I
listening
hope so.
today.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah. But
yeah,
my Instagram, I really want to gear it towards that metabolic space on like women with family, juggling busy life just like me. So yeah, come follow me, Kaitlin the RD.
well, thank you so much, Kaitlin. It's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast. And just a reminder, guys, if you're listening today and you're curious about how you can start working with brands, take a peek at what you can get paid by going to masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide. Thanks so much.